Hi everyone, Kai here with you today from A Place for Kai. I'm with you for Team Tuesday with Misty, and just to show you how I use Misty as my little assistant. I have a few cards to share with you that I've made using this process tissue paper watercolor. There's a video by Lol Thompson detailing it, and I'll share that link with you later on in the post. But for now, I'm just showing you how I've done my card. I'm using Paper Artsy infusions as well as Bister powders. Both the Paper Artsy infusions and the Bister powders are water-soluble stains which have a dye colorant in them as well as walnut stain. So they make for some interesting looks and backgrounds, I think, for cards. I've mixed here the Paper Artsy infusions slate blue and used the Bister yellow to do this background. Sprinkled on each of the powders and then spritzed with water and dried. Sorry for the noise of this. I'm just letting you know that when I'm doing this drying, I am constantly moving the gun and not allowing any heat to affect my Misty. So you want to wait until it's good and dry, and then you can feel the crinkly of the tissue paper. And then the process after this is the fun part. You come down to do your crumpling. So you crumple it up good so that you get a lot of texture in it when you open it up. And be careful when you're opening up, you don't want to tear it, because that will definitely show, or I would think it would show. So the next step that I'm doing here is preparing my piece of cardstock with the glue to attach the tissue paper to. I made the mistake of using the green-topped Tombow multi-liquid glue. I do this in my Misty because the creative corners helps keep my piece of cardstock in place, and it just makes it easier for me, so I'm not putting my fingers in the glue. You spread it on relatively thinly, and then attach your paper, crinkling that as you go, of course. That's why it's nicer if the glue gives you more time. So just fuss with it until you get your tissue the way you want it. As I was doing this, I noticed that I didn't really like the bottom part, and I think I even say something to that effect in the video here. So I just trimmed it up a bit, which is fine to do if you don't like the edges hanging off. I like them curling up and hanging off. But it's up to each person how they want their tissue to look, isn't it? So now the process is, what I did was use the Versamark ink pad, but you can also use the Ranger Emboss It pens and color on your embossing ink, but just tapping lightly onto the tissue. What you want is that the embossing ink gets onto the lines and into all the little crinkles. I'm adding gold embossing powder for this card. You could use any color embossing to suit the style of your card. And then heat emboss until dry. That's always the fun part and noisy part. So now I want mine to be on foam strips, so I'm going to add those to the back of my panel. And I won't make you watch the whole thing. And I'm going to use my Misti to line it up straight on my card base. And I love these the new Misti bars, magnet bars. Oh, are they ever strong? They're wonderful. I won't make you watch this part either. Not all of it. This is where I decide that I don't like the bottom part of the tissue, so I trim it up a bit.
Not like that.
There's where I say.
I don't like that part, so I'm going to snip it a bit like that.
It wasn't snipped a lot, it was just a little bit. The piece of tissue is obviously bigger than your card. This is an A2 card, and the piece of tissue that I used is probably 6 inches long by 4 3/4 wide, so you're using more tissue. Now here's where I had previously made a piece of tissue to use for my leaf, and it had a lot of walnut stain in it. It's really dark, but I love the look of it, because so often here in Ontario you find leaves like that. They almost look like they've been in a fire, so there's a lot of texture in that. And I was going to heat emboss my leaf in gold embossing, but because I cut, you can see there at the top, a blue glitter cardstock solid leaf, I decided I'm going to use peacock feathers to do the embossing, which is Tim Holtz Distress Inks peacock feathers. I'm stuck here. Those magnets don't want to come to me. I use my embossing buddy for the leaf. I don't use it on the background because it doesn't matter to me if there's more embossing powder on there. But on this, I want it in certain spots. So I'm adding the blue to the leaf that comes with this set. So pretty. I love this set. And then I heat emboss with clear embossing powder. Excuse me. The magnet is attached to the spoon. Still makes me laugh. So as I'm trying to move the spoon, the magnet is following it underneath the my bowl. Oh man, I'm telling you, lots of fun with this Misty. So here I'm going to die cut it. It's been heat embossed, and I'm going to die cut it using the die that comes with this, or it doesn't come with this set, but you can get it extra, and I just love both. Two dies. You'll see the other die used on the inside of the card. It looks very dark, but there are light parts to it, but there's also dark parts, but it just looks fabulous. And I know my friend that is getting that. It's in the mail as we speak. Will be delighted with it. I'm going, it's okay. Little dab of this glue. It's very strong glue, so you don't need very much. And I like to attach the leaf on an angle so you get both the glitter and the leaf. The glitter showing in the background. I think it looks really nice. So I'm going to, as this card is for a friend, I do the inside, and this is the other die that I used. Cut a piece of cardstock, and then I colored it with Martha Stewart glitter markers. So it too has some sparkle. A lot of sparkle in this card. And then I'm stamping the sentiment that comes with the set in the inside. In black ink. I'm using Simon Says Stamp Intense Black. Gluing down my little leaf. Which is also done in the blue. A little hard to see there, but it is. And I add the leaf to the front of the card on a foam dot. And this autumn sentiment die is from Frantic Stamper. And I die cut it in the blue glitter cardstock as well, and use some glossy accents to attach it to the card. Tissue. Added a few sequins, because that's what I always do, as if there isn't enough glam and glitz on this card. Added a bit to brighten up the leaf. Bit of sparkle. And then attach my card in the inside. I've used, look at, I'm breathing so heavy here, I think I'm about to sneeze. I can't remember the name of the dies that I used for my panel and for the inside. I'll put a notation to that in the post. So there's the completed card. And these are the other cards that I made. This is the blue one that I just, oh no, sorry, this has got the blues that I just did. Yes. This is red, the red and yellow. Paper Artsy's Frankly Scarlet, I think it's called, and the Bister Yellow. On the next card I used Emerald Isle and the Bister Yellow. And the card following that I used Green Man, Frankly Scarlet, and the Bister Yellow again. And I did the inside in Tissue Leaf as well. I hope you enjoyed these cards, and thanks so much for watching. See you next time.